I don't know what's more shameful. The fact that it took me this long to put out a review for this film, or that I barely have any anime shirts in my collection.
忘れられるわけない。絶対に助けに行く。
あいつは自分の扱いが雑なんだよ。
あんたはなんか大事なことをしちょるような気がする。
お返し申す。
お返しします。いってらっしゃい。いってらっしゃい。
いってらっしゃい。いってらっしゃい。
行ってきます。
And today we have Suzume. This one, I get. If you haven't heard about this one, I wouldn't blame you. Really, only my weeb friends heard about this. In fact, I didn't even know it was playing until one of my good friends, who is very much a weeb, an enjoyer of anime, informed me of this film. But all that I knew going into it was that Suzume, it was going to be a very limited IMAX engagement, and that it was by the same guy who did Your Name, which I finally, this year, watched Your Name, and that movie had been out since 2016. I had another friend of mine who wanted me to watch it because it's their favorite film. I watched it, cried like everybody else did, and really enjoyed it. And they're like gorgeous movie. And so when I saw this one was coming out, I figured, okay, well, I've only seen a few, like a very limited amount of anime films in IMAX, so I definitely got to go do this. As always, I gotta say, I lack the cultural wherewithal and knowledge. There might be a lot of context missing on my end, as well as pronunciation all the time, so forgive me in advance. I am but a humble American boy. That being said, director is Makoto Shinkai, or Makoto Shinkai. He's got a filmography, obviously. As I mentioned, he's done Your Name. And the other film that he did that he's well known for, which I still need to watch, Weathering with You. So you can make a whole trilogy about this, but they all kind of have similar thematic ideas and all this. It's usually beautiful animation, crazy spiritual or fantasy subject material, and then always like a journey or a trip of some kind, either one of a spiritual internal nature or a literal voyage of sort. Our two stars, Nanakohara and Hokuro Masamura. Hokuro Masamura. I'm just gonna try to let it flow off the tongue. They killed it. They're great. I almost never have any complaints with the original Japanese or original foreign language voiceover. I did see this movie the same way that I prefer to see my anime and animated films like this, subbed. So it was subtitled. There are good, dubs out there. That's how I watched Full Metal Alchemist. I'm not going to be going too long about the film, but just long enough to kind of give you an idea. I've only seen 2 of this guy's works. I still prefer Your Name, but that being said, Suzume was great. I lucked out and getting to see it in IMAX. This was on a screen that big, with audio that loud and the bass in the seats and all that. This was a visual spectacle. It was fun. We've seen stories of this type and of this variations of the same story, but it's told in a creative way and in a slightly new way, and just new enough where I was engaged, I was there for it, it was an experience, and I could tell this guy's films at least ooze with creativity and creative concepts. As I've already made mention, visually it was great, the animation is great. It's this what I assume, I didn't do too much research, but what I assume to be this mix of 2D hand-drawn with also 3D animatics and animations interspliced in certain sequences. I always like hand-drawn. There's good CG and, visual digital movies these days, sure, but it's always nice to see either animation that is hand-drawn or harkens back to that hand-drawn. And anime always has that careful, care and thought and artistry put in. But it's also contemporary because this takes place in our modern world, so smartphones and modern cities and bullet trains and the whole 9 yards. I didn't want to spoil this, I don't think I will, but let me just say one of the most creative aspects of this film that gave me a lot of laughs and chuckles and worked really well. It involves the chair you see in the poster. I'll leave it at that, but I liked it a lot. But yeah, this was fun, engaging. I like how there was a mystery in a way to be solved and pieced together over the course of the narrative. I like a film that kind of drops you right into this, similar to our main character Suzume. You're just flung into this adventure, this fantasy, and you're having to figure it out as an audience member with the main character. So it's not like you're going into this being oh, I know what all the tricks are and the trailer told me, so I'm just watching her discover what I already know. I like a film that puts you in the the shoes of your main character, because you're also like, what's going on? Why the hell is this happening? Who are these people? I like that. It makes the journey more engaging and more rewarding for you as a viewer. I think the only complaints that I had were like Act 3 kind of turns into like Road Trip the movie for a lot of it, and I get that, and it's not like a bad thing per se, but I think it kind of affects the pacing. But yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, do I have any other complaints? I mean, no, I had a really good time. Admittedly, and this is kind of the sucky part about when I fall behind on reviewing movies, it's been like weeks since I've seen this film. I literally forgot to review it like 2 or 3 times when I was cranking out reviews, so I'm way late to the party here. I think you can already stream it maybe? Hell, this movie came out, I think, outside of the US last year. It's only just now getting like an American release. So what I'm saying here is nothing new, and I can't really bring any new conversation to the table. All I can do is spread awareness about this film's existence and this like director's filmography, similar to when I reviewed Paprika, which is an even older movie that I finally watched this year and spread the gospel on. So watch Suzume for sure if you're into any of that kind of stuff, but I would definitely recommend Your Name a lot better, and I still need to see Weathering with You, then I can kind of review the guy's whole filmography, although I think he's done more as well. I don't have a whole lot else to say. I think I'm actually going to change my review kind of in this, but overall, I think that Suzume is a really good time. It's a really good movie. Even though we've seen stories of this kind of content and caliber before, it puts a creative enough, like fresh enough spin on it where it's like, it feels like its own thing. It's a unique, magical fantasy story that will tug at your heartstrings a little bit, just in my opinion not as much as this director's previous like body of works. But acting is great. I mean, Japanese voiceover is almost always pristine, 10 out of 10 killer. Animation is great. It's a beautiful film. Has really cool set piece moments and all this. Oh, I will say, I almost forgot, audio design in this. There's one audio thing that only happens, I think, 3 or 4 times in the movie, but it's some like Kingdom Hearts key and lock shit. I return this to you! Hearing that blasted in the auditorium with the IMAX and the sound. If you're watching this movie at home and you have even like a halfway decent setup, crank this shit up. I don't know what it was, but the whole like ching, God, it was serotonin. It was just like ching sound make brain go burr. If you get lucky enough to still catch this in theaters somehow, definitely go see it. I mean, if you don't like anime, fine. If you're not a fan of, if you didn't like Your Name or you don't like this animation style, fine. But if you have similar tastes to me, or if you like anime and appreciate contemporary fantasy anime in general, as far as anime goes and as far as the weird shit I've seen, this is safe. Mon, Pa, Apple Pie, you know, like comparatively to what is out there, this is very approachable. I would give Suzume a very solid 4 out of 5. I would give Suzume a 4 out of 5. It's really good. It's really good. I recommend it. I really enjoyed it. I would watch it again, but like I said, I liked Your Name better. There's other better anime out there, anime films out there, but this was a very nice cinematic, visual, auditory, narrative experience that I'm very glad I got to see. And it's one of the better films that I've seen this year, like for sure. That's all I gotta say. Thank you guys and gals so much for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode of whatever movie I review. Late or eventually or whatever. I'm just now starting to get a little bit caught up. There's technically still some other movies that I'm contemplating reviewing. They're older films that I've seen for the first time this year, so we'll see. Might put them on the back burner for the new releases that are coming out pretty soon, but who knows. And goodbye, travelers.